Alright, so Uncle Joe Ziegler just dropped a post on X about Marathon and Season 2. And honestly, this is the most important post we've gotten since launch. Not because it's flashy, not because it's hype, but because it's honest. And it tells us exactly where the game is going next. So let's break down what he actually said, because there's a lot of signal in his post. So Joe basically came out and said, Season 2 isn't a continuation of Season 1, it's a pivot, a course correction, we're changing direction because the community was right moment. And that's rare. Studios almost never say this shit out loud. They usually hide behind PR language like, we're evaluating feedback, or what's that one? We hear you. You guys remember that one, right? We're excited for what's next. So Joe Z didn't do any of that. He said in plain English, we're shifting the game based on what you told us. That's huge. Okay, so let's keep it 1,000. Season 1 had some of the best movement and gunplay we've seen in years. Tiger Engine is insane. Sandbox, legit. Skill ceiling, the skill ceiling is insane. I mean, you guys know I always talk about my CS background. Like, I haven't sweated a game like this in CSGO. And by the way, the highest rank I got was DMG. I was stuck in DMG hell. Sorry, boys. I couldn't make it. Anyway, but the structure, the progression, the incentives, the way the game asked you to play, that's where things got messy. You know, it felt like a competitive sweat fest wrapped around a game that should have been about, creativity, expression, and speed. It punished experimentation, it punished casual play, and it punished fun. So Josie's post is basically him saying, yeah, we saw it too, and we're fixing it. Now, okay, so he didn't drop patch notes, but the language he used tells us a lot of shit. He basically said S2 will bring, new ways to play, new incentives, new systems, and a shift in design philosophy. That's not balanced tuning. That's not, we buffed the Volt Thrower by 3%. This shit's foundational. New ways to play. That means new modes or new rule sets. New incentives. That means progression that actually respects your time. New systems. That basically means they're not afraid to rip everything out, rip the engine out, and rebuild it. And rebuild the parts that weren't working, And the biggest one, the design philosophy shift. That's the big part of it. S1 was built like a competitive extraction shooter. S2 sounds like it's being rebuilt as a, fun first sandbox shooter with extraction elements. And that's the identity Marathon, has been missing. And Josie basically is basically saying, we're steering the ship towards that identity now, guys. And look, for all the haters who spent the last month writing eulogies for the game, I hope you saved the copy because you might need to update it. Some of y'all were acting like Bungie shut the servers down and boarded up the studio. Y'all were posting Marathon is dead with more passion than you've ever put into actually playing the fucking game. It's like, dog, the game wasn't dead. he just ran out of things to farm outrage for. But hey, good news. Season 2 is coming. You'll have new things to be mad about soon. Don't worry. Okay, so, final breakdown. Season 1 was the foundation. Season 2 is going to be the identity. Season 3 is going to be the expansion. Josie's post on X is the first time Bungie has openly said, "We're not married to the original plan. We're building the game with you, not at you." And you know, that's the kind of transparency gamers have been begging for. And it's the kind of leadership Marathon fucking needed. So yeah, Season 2 isn't just a content drop. It's the moment the game becomes what it's supposed to be.